5:30 p.m. Declaration of opening for tonight's ordinary council meeting is made at 5:30 p.m. Welcome everyone. So we're on page 6 of our agenda, and we have item number 2 after the declaration of opening. Number 1 is opening procedures. And just neglected to say, this is an ordinary council meeting, so this is a decision-making night. So we had a forum last week where we had question and answers. Some answers were provided during the week, but tonight councillors have to make a decision on every item that's presented to us. So opening procedures number 2, item number 2 is 2.1, acknowledgement of country. So I'd like to invite Councillor Appleton to present the acknowledgement to country.
Shire of Northern would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet, the Baladang and the Wadak people of the Noongar Nation, and we pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging.
Thank you, Councillor Appleton. Item 2.2 is recording of council meetings. Members of the council, that's all the councillors, and members of the gallery, that's all the members of the public, are advised that this meeting is being live streamed and audio recorded and is made available on the Shire of Northern's YouTube channel. If members of any member of the public would like to access a recording of this meeting, they can do so via the Shire of Northern website, and that actually works. So, shouldn't sound surprised, it does work. So item 3 is attendance. 3.1 is attendees. If I go from left to right, we've got Councillor Bigland, Councillor Gira, Councillor Ryan, Councillor Williams, Councillor Mancelli, President Antonio, Councillor Appleton, Councillor Polton, Councillor Hughes are all in attendance. And we've just got highlights, so I'll just describe that background in a minute. And we've got all the staff as listed are in attendance. So that's all noted accordingly. Item 3.2 is apologies, and that is nil. We go to page 7. Item 3.3 is approved leaves of absence. I just said I'd get to this. Councillor Williams has been granted leave of absence from the 26th of October 2024 to the 24th of November 2024 inclusive. However, Councillor Williams has indicated in advance that Councillor Williams will attend this meeting. Now that's pretty obvious because Councillor Williams is here. We're just making sure the recording notes that. So item 3.4 is absent, that is nil. Item 4 is disclosure of interest, which we have a number of. And as I get to the item, I'll just read out a little blurb regarding decision making. But we have item 13.1.1, Councillor Hughes has declared impartiality. That is lease of part of Reserve 3303 and 11596 Northern Harness Racing Club. Councillor Hughes is a member of the Northern Harness Club. Item 13.1.2, which is building insurance charges, Northern Men's Shed and Northern Toy Library, portion of 87 Duke Street, Northern. President Antonio, that is me, has declared impartiality. Members of both groups are known to President Antonio. Councillor Appleton, same item, has declared impartiality. Mr Singleton is known to Councillor Appleton. Item 13.4.3, which is budget variation RFT 07 of 2023, Northern Bike Hub upgrades. President Antonio, that's me, has declared impartiality. Members of the BMX Club associated with this track are known to President Antonio. Councillor Appleton, same item, has declared impartiality. Members of the Northern BMX Club are known to Councillor Appleton. We have an item behind closed doors, but I can read this out because it doesn't mention any names, which is Australia Day Council WA, Community Citizen of the Year 2025. It's fine. So just, so this item, there's a number of councillors that have declared impartiality. Councillor Williams has declared impartiality in this item. Several nominees are known to Councillor Williams. One is one of Councillor Williams' children's neighbours. President Antonio, that's me, has declared impartiality. Many, almost all of the nominees are known to President Antonio. So remember, this is the same item. Councillor Appleton has declared impartiality. Nominees are known to Councillor Appleton. Councillor Gierak has declared impartiality. Some of the nominees of the Community Citizen of the Year Awards 2025 are known to Councillor Gierak. Councillor Hughes has declared impartiality. Some nominees are known to Councillor Hughes. Councillor Mencelli has declared impartiality. Some nominees are known to Councillor Mencelli. Councillor Ryan has declared impartiality. Applicants' nominees are known to Councillor Ryan. And with the disclosure of interest, councillors are aware and members of the public are aware, as an item comes up, before we make any decision, councillors are quite able to make a declaration of interest at the time. So we're now on page 9, which is announcements, item number 5, announcements by the presiding member without discussion, so that is there. So that's taken as read. So we go to page 12, which is item number 6, which is public questions. I do have public questions provided in advance, so I'll get to that first, just so we go through that. This is from Mr. Jeffrey Pollard. So the first question is, firstly, Northam Cemetery maintenance. A couple of concerns have recently been raised on social media about the current state of the Northam Cemetery. I see in the accounts tonight, page 190, that there is a payment to the Wheatbelt NRM for cemetery maintenance for a fortnight, 24/08/2024 to 6/9/24 for $5,273.05. My questions are, is this a regular fortnightly contract payment, which would therefore amount to about $137,000 per annum? If this is not a regular fortnightly payment, how much does the Shire of Northam pay to the Wheatbelt NRM per year for cemetery maintenance? And does the Shire Council and Shire staff consider that this represents value for money? So we've got an answer prepared. A request for tender closed on the 21st of February 2023 for the Northam Cemetery maintenance. 2 conforming submissions were assessed, with the consensus being that the submission by the Wheatbelt NRM provided the best value for money to the Shire. Based on this, the contract for the Northam Cemetery maintenance was awarded in 2023 to 2025 with a 2-year option to extend. Progress claims are submitted fortnight. The progress claims submitted fortnightly vary. A total of 8 claims have been submitted to this financial year to date, totaling $40,496.44. As they vary, we're not sure of what the total amount will be for the year. The Shire of Northam is working with the Wheatbelt NRM to manage the delivery of the contract to the required standard. Second question is that Shire councillors may be aware that in the campaign leading up to the state election in March 2021, the Northern Heritage Forum successfully lobbied for a commitment of $120,000 funding for from the Labor government through the Honorary David Templeman MLA, Minister for Culture and the Arts, Sport and Recreation, International Education and Heritage for urgently needed repairs for the collapsing platform at the Old Northern Railway Station. Mr. Templeman also implied to the then chairperson of the NHF that if this was not enough to make the platform safe, more funding could follow. Shortly after Labor's successful election result, my understanding is that the Wheatbelt Development Commission transferred responsibility for completing the platform repairs to the Shire of Northam. My understanding is also that if the committed money is not spent before the next state election, the government is no longer committed to providing the funding and it will be reallocated and lost to Northam. Is that correct? The members of the NHF committee met on site several months ago with Jan Byers, Acting Executive Manager Community Services, and Shane Moorhead, Building Maintenance Project Supervisor, and we were advised that a request for tender had been issued, but we have still not seen the specification and have heard nothing more since. 3.5 years after we secured the funding commitment, the platform is still progressively collapsing. Given that the March 2025 state election is fast approaching and David Templeman is retiring at this election, does the Shire of Northam anticipate that the repairs to the platform will be completed by early next year? So there's an answer here. There is a signed agreement in place between the Shire of Northam and the Wheatbelt Development Commission in relation to the contribution of $120,000 from the state government towards the upgrades of the Old Northern Railway Station platform. This agreement provides that the project is completed and a grant acquitted by 30th September 2025. In September 2024, the Shire awarded RFQ 06 of 2024 to 2024 Northern Railway Museum platform upgrades to HI Construction, Heritage Contractors. The price submission exceeded the total grant, and therefore the contractor was invited to provide an alternative methodology in line with the available budget. The alternative methodology is due on Friday 22nd November 2024 and will be assessed accordingly to enable the project to progress. And these answers are in the minutes and will be provided in writing to Mr. Pollard. Thank you. So I still have to go. There's more members of the public here. Is there any more questions from members of the public? And if there is, could I please invite you to come up to this microphone and to state your name and ask a question, if there is. If there, sorry? You know the drill.
Thank you for having me again. I just wanted to bring to the attention of council that since September, we've had a number of complaints or concerns that there have been people in the community entering into the Swan enclosure compound. There was one in September where a male mute swan was wrongfully taken out of the enclosure under the guise of it being unwell. This person, who's known in the community, happened to allow for a wildlife carer to hop the fence and take the swan to a property in Miranda, and I had to organise with local police to liaise with rangers to go and track down this swan and return it back into the enclosure. This incident is then conceded by a few other incidences, one in particular that was raised by Maureen Allert and her son Chris Allert, that there have been people hopping the fence and going into the enclosure. My concern is that, and I've spoken to Paul about this before, is that you have an issue with trespass. This area is council property. It is gated for a reason, and there is a risk not just to the swans where they can be abducted, but to people. There's issues with occupational health and safety hazards, liability. If anyone is injured, could be from hurting themselves, even drowning, anything could happen. These things are not adequately covered or by signage, particularly around the enclosure, which is to say, you know, there needs to be a no trespass. If you have any concerns, contact the Shire or the Rangers. To do with this, first of all, my question would be is, could Shire look into proper signage around the Swan enclosure to advise people that trespassing on Shire property could lead to prosecution, and that if you do anything, you're doing it at your own risk, just to protect the council from the liability of other people injuring themselves. As a Swan Guardian, we had to sign volunteer forms to protect us under the insurance of the Shire of Northern, and that gave us the permission to be in there, and in case anyone got injured or hurt, we were covered by Shire insurance.
Yeah, we can certainly investigate that. The Swan enclosure obviously performs not only the Swan enclosure but a drainage function as well. It's a bit of a combination of, obviously it's been used in the past for enclosing the swans, but yeah, we can certainly investigate with probably the LGIS what the current standards are for signage, etc. That's a LGS is our insurance company that insures it. So yeah, we can certainly make those investigations.
Thank you, Mr. Hunt. Probably the answer, yes, so we can investigate, thank you, question.
And Swan Guardians also recognise that you have been putting mobile security cameras around. Last time I was in here, we did speak about security cameras, but I think it was a miscommunication. We were sort of thinking about during hatching season down on the island. We were hoping that that area could be covered by some form of CCTV by the Shire, because again, it comes down to risk. If it's not covered with security cameras, not just for the sake of the swans, but people as well, then I know that police have access to cameras like at traffic lights and things like that, but if any incidents do occur around that area, having good CCTV camera that covers that area will also support the Shire's point of view when it comes to liability and injury, or if anyone is at risk of harm.
Yeah, so to answer the question, because the CCTV we've got at the moment is on trial, so I don't know where it's going next, but it can be considered to answer your question. I just don't know where it's planned to go, but it is on trial.
Okay,
so trial at the youth precinct at the moment.
My biggest concern is really for the safety of people. I know I'm here also to advocate for the white swans in Northern, but with the fact that people are jumping fences and getting in there, there is risk of injury and harm to people. And I want to put my foot forward to just ask if Shire can make some little changes there to avoid risk.
Let's get the CEO to answer that as well.
Yes, so we currently have one mobile CCTV trailer that we have leased, and there is another one coming. We are working with the police to understand where the hotspots are and where we can locate them, but we can certainly look at that as an option. The only thing with the mobile trailer is we would also have to make sure that the site was suitable and we were able to put it in a suitable location, but we can certainly look at that as an option for the placement of the mobile CCTV camera for a period of time.
Thank you very much.
Any further public questions? No? Okay, so we're still on page 12. We've got item number 7, is response to previous public question taken on notice. Well, I've just read question and answers out, so there's no further ones. So item number 8 is receiving of petitions, presentations and deputations. 8.1 petitions, there are none. 8.2 presentations, I did allude to this last week. 2 Ribbon Roadwise Council Award. So Roadwise Recognised is an initiative designed to encourage, guide and motivate roadwise councils towards better practice in managing road safety performance on the local road network. So based on the Roadwise framework, roadwise councils will be awarded points and ribbons highlighting their rounded approach to road safety and application of better practice in the planning and delivery of effective interventions and the adoption of a holistic approach to road safety. Throughout the year, roadwise councils will be awarded points for each road safety activity or intervention undertaken as per the Roadwise framework. Points are allocated based on the effectiveness, longevity and scale of the road safety activity and taking into account the capacity of the local government. An increase in points over time indicates progress toward better road safety practices. Annually, roadwise councils will be awarded ribbons highlighting their holistic approach to road safety, aligned to systems thinking. Ribbons will be awarded to a maximum of 5 and will reset each year. In 2024, the Shire of Northern was awarded with 2 ribbons for the following initiatives: Wellington Gordon Street Black Spot Program and road safety audits at various locations and the General Road Maintenance Program. So with that, I take great pleasure in showing this award. So it's another award for the CEO's office or someone else's office that I'm going to present to the CEO and say congratulations to all the staff who've done all the work, and say encourage if it falls to you, you pass on all the congratulations to all the staff. So well done to the staff. So 8.3, we're still on page 13 now, deputations. That's when members of the public are able to make a statement if they so wish. The members of the gallery here have indicated they wouldn't like to make a statement, but I'll just double check any statements that they'd like to make. No? So we'll move on. So we've got item number 9 on page 14, which is applications for leave of absence. So we've got a recommendation there for Councillor Hughes. Councillor Mencheli is moving. Councillor Ryan is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by show of hands. That's 9-0, that's carried. And Councillor Gierak, I'm definitely not forgetting you. There's also a recommendation there for Councillor Gierak. Councillor Mencheli is moving. Councillor Ryan is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by show of hands. That's 9-0, that's carried. We now go to, we're still on page 15, we'll go to page 15, and we have item number 10 is confirmation of minutes. 10.1 is confirmation of minutes from the ordinary council meeting held 16th of October 2024. There was no questions on this and there's a recommendation there. Councillor Hughes is moving, Councillor Williams is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by show of hands. That's 9-0, that's carried. And then we have item 10.2, notes from the council forum meeting held last week, the 13th of November. Just before I ask for a move in a second, I'll see if there's any queries or clarifications, because this is a new item this week. So councillors, if you have any queries or questions? No? So then can I please ask for a move in a seconder? Councillor Mencheli is moving, Councillor Poulton is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands. That's 9-0, that's carried. We now go to page 43. So item 10.3 is confirmation of minutes from the special council meeting held on the 13th November 2024. And did want to check if there was any questions or clarifications on that. If not, I'm going to look to Councillor Ryan. Councillor Ryan is moving. Councillor Gira is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands. That's 9-0, that's carried. Now we're on to item number 11, items brought forward for the convenience of those in the public gallery. So we do have members of the gallery who are interested in items. So we're just going to go to page 110. So this is 13.1.2, building insurance charges, Northern Men's Shed and Northern Toilet Library portion of 87 Duke Street, Northern. Just a reminder that President Antonio and Councillor Appleton declared impartiality in this item. And President Antonio and Councillor Appleton have declared an impartiality interest in this item and declared that they will consider the matter on its merit and vote accordingly. So we've got that item, and on page 116 is a recommendation.
I'll move the recommendation as presented.
Councillor Mencheli is moving. Councillor Hughes is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands. That's 9-0, that's carried. And I neglected to say, like, as your item comes up or you've asked a question, you're quite able to stay or go, stay and enjoy hospitality, or you can go without reference to me. So I'm just remembering that. So that was the item that Mr. Singleton was interested in. And we're also going to go now to page 160, which is 13.3.1. This is under 13.3 Development and Community Services. 13.3.1 is proposed local planning policy number 27, tree retention, and there is a recommendation on page 162.
I'll move the motion as presented.
Councillor Mencheli is moving. Councillor Williams has got a question.
Apologies for the lateness of the question at the forum. I'm just wondering, in the actual waste policy, page 157, under application requirements, it says that any trees proposed to be planted on the development site have to actually fall into the development application. I was just wondering if that's any trees at all, or if that's any trees that the Shire has indicated will need to be proposed, or people expected to know where they are going to plant trees in the future.
Just refer that to Mr.
Sorry, can you just, which section of the policy is that? I've got different page number.
Oh, sorry, it's in the application requirements, it's part A and it's the last dot point. Okay.
It's on page 5 of the policy. So is the question, in terms of the tree that are to be planted only associated with the developments being undertaken at the site? Does that, as part of that development, yeah. So it's a landscaping plan, etc. Then they're required to provide details of the tree species, etc.
That they are able to then plant trees in the future that aren't one part of our application.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So Councillor Mencheli moved, still haven't got a seconder. So Councillor Williams is going to second. Is there anyone likely to speak against?
Against, but I'd just like to make a comment. That's okay. I think what it is, you reckon?
Depends on what it is. Sorry, so I was just going to say probably members of the public have already had the chance, sorry. We can talk to you afterwards. So I'll just clarify, this, if it's approved by council, this is going out for public comment. This is not a decision, so just so everyone's aware, this is going out to public comment if this is passed. So public do get a chance to comment and make recommendations or anything like that. Just so everyone's aware. But we do have a motion on the table. Councillor Mencheli has moved, Councillor Williams has seconded. Anyone likely to speak against? Councillor Poulton? So Councillor Mencheli.
Yes, Mr. President. This is a draft amended local planning policy that we're looking at. It is going out for public advertising, and people are permitted to lodge submissions in relation to this. So there's still plenty of time for people to declare any concerns in regard to the policy. I don't think there's any more that I need to say.
Thanks, Councillor Mencheli. Councillor Poulton?
Fellow councillors, I grew up as part of the Clemson Plan generation, which is reduce, reuse, recycle. I am all for the conservation of significant trees, our environment. But I think this needs a few issues addressed before it goes out to the wider community. One is that with the categorisation that they're using in treatment of the area, and things like that, you can have species of plants that are 100 years old that tiny shrubs, and they take a long time to grow. They're slow growing. Look at grass trees, for example. They would not be included under this protection. Second is the obligations that it's enforcing onto the local landholders of our community, the financial burdens and responsibilities that go along with that, and also the and also the freedoms that it takes away. So I've always been a firm believer of education and information over repressive red tape, and I think that this takes the second as opposed to the first. I encourage you to vote against this proposal.
Thanks, Councillor Poulton. Councillor Williams?
I absolutely believe in the freedom of people to be able to do what they would like within reason on their property. However, it is alarming what is happening to tree canopy. Tree canopy in the Shire of Northern is pretty awful. We used to have areas, and I hope we still do, of residual growth that wasn't allowed to be touched. Yeah, it was on your property, you weren't allowed to touch it regardless. When you bought your property, that was not quite clear. We also have various different policies about what plants you can and cannot plant, pest plants, etc. There's always been rules around what you can and can't plant. We had a big kickback when we introduced a policy over a particular subdivision in Wandowie where we were retaining the trees that housed the cockatoo breeding area. And everyone said, oh, those properties will never sell. Well, they have sold. People understand that significant trees are just that. This has been workshopped in the usual manner. I think any major concerns should probably have been raised then. This is actually a copy of a Walker policy. I'm sure there are many other local governments that will be adopting a similar approach. For the Shire of Northern's sake, I think the more trees that we can actually keep, the better for the environment, the better for the people.
Councillor Williams. Further speakers against? Further speakers for? Councillor Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. President. The important thing in terms of the process of local government.
Sorry, Councillor, I'll just turn that off. We're done because it's back.
You want me to take mine off or no?
No, keep talking, just, yeah.
So it's important that this goes out to the public in my mind, and I would encourage councillors to support the motion. It has been workshopped in the normal way as Councillor Williams spoke just a few moments ago. And what's important is for it to go out to the public. This is the cohort of councillors that we've workshopped, that we've gone through it. It's what we consider that the community wants from different feedback and our own personal channels as councillors. It's important, I suppose, from a feedback perspective that we're getting it right. So I think it's important that this goes out to the community, because and those that are watching online, hopefully there's a few of you watching online, or if you want to go back and look at it later, I just encourage you all to have a look at the policy and please write submissions. It's so important because we want to get this right. We do want to get it right. So this is the opportunity for the community to say, hey, look, we think that you're on the money in regards to these clauses of the policy. This, no, we don't think so. And I just encourage every member of the community, have a look at the policy, get involved, write the submissions, because we're all going to take the submissions very, very seriously. And the reason why we're going to take it seriously is this: trees take a long time to grow. We do not want to get it wrong, and they take such a long time, and it's an investment within our community. Trees are. They keep the ground cooler. They create microclimates, and we all take pleasure, particularly in the summer, sitting under a tree with our family, having a picnic, or playing ball, or whatever it is with our kids and with our loved ones. Trees are an important part of our community. So I just ask that whether it's on private property, whether it's in public property, we all need to have an honest conversation in regards to it. Please have a look at the policy. I encourage councillors to support the motion as it currently is, because it's important that our community has a look at what we've drafted and whether we've got it right or wrong. We need that feedback. So I just ask support. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Ryan. Further speakers against? Just checking, Councillor Hughes.
No, I'm for.
Yeah, sorry. Further speakers for?
I was going to vote against this, as a few of you most probably know. But the reason I've changed my mind, and look, I'm concerned about a couple of points, and if I could say those points, one was about clearing a tree over your pool, just a fixing pool, or over your solar panels. I think you must be able to do that. But I'm quite happy. I was going to move a different motion, but I'm quite happy to go along with it, because it's going to go to public. I believe there will be public submissions, and then we can deal with those sorts of things at that time. And I'd also like to get it where it becomes more greener for the Shire, where the Shire gets behind it more positively and start planting trees in our street verges, not just leaving it to the few people who've got big trees in their blocks. It's the Shire's got to be positive. They might have street verge policies and all these sorts of policies, but I don't see any trees. I remember about 10 or 15 years ago we passed all these certain trees that we planted here, but I don't see any planted. Anyhow, I'm quite happy to go along with it, but I just hope it does come back for a couple of changes.
Thanks, councillor Hughes. Further speakers against? Further speakers for? Councillor Guerra.
Yes, so I'm on the same page as Councillor Hughes. I was initially going to vote against this, but I do believe that we need input from the public. I have a lot of concerns about policy as it is, but I would like to also hear the public's opinion and make changes accordingly. Thank you.
Thanks, councillor Guerra. We'll test and see if there's any further speakers against. Further speakers for? There's only a couple of councillors that haven't spoken. Councillor Mencheli, you've got the right of reply.
We've been through the motion of considering this particular policy, and we've been provided with a pretty good draft from Walga. And you've also got to remember that there's federal and state legislation around flora and fauna in this country of ours. Personally, I'm a tree hugger, and I'm all for keeping them. But yeah, I'm hearing what's being said around the table in regard to overshadowing over solar panels and dropping leaves in pools and stuff like that. But I think at the end of the day, in the execution of this particular local planning policy, common sense will prevail. And I think all of us here around the table should vote for this to go forward, and let's see what we get in the way of community consultation and submissions. Thank you.
Thanks, councillor Mencheli. So I'll now put that motion. So all in favour of councillor Mencheli's motion by show of hands? That's 9-0, that's carried. So we now go back to page 44. So item number 12 is reports of committee meetings. 12.1 is Bushfire Advisory Committee meeting held on the 8th of October 2024. We have minutes and then we have the management plan. So can I please have a move in a second for the minutes? Councillor Ryan is moving, Councillor Mencheli is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by show of hands? That's 9-0, that's carried. And then still on page 44, I believe, there's a recommendation the council endorses the bushfire risk management plan. Councillor Ryan is moving, Councillor Poldrin is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands? That's 9-0, that's carried. We now go to page 103. So item 13 is officer reports. 13.1.1 is lease of park reserves 3303 and 11596 Northern Harness Racing Club. Just a reminder, Councillor Hughes has declared impartiality in this item, and as Councillor Hughes has declared impartiality interest, Councillor Hughes declares that he will consider the matter on its merit and vote accordingly. Now with this one, I'll just get the right. So we go to page 108. So we've got at the top 108, we've got the two councillors, we need 4 councillors. Have we been notified? 4 councillors. So we need that first, so just above. So officers' comment part 1, we need the 4 councillors to amend this. Amend is the correct term? Yep. So Councillor Guerra and Councillor Appleton have indicated their support to amend it. Councillor Mencheli and Councillor Hughes. So we'll just get the appropriate signatures. So and so that becomes part 1. So part 2, with the support of the required council members, to recommend that a portion of the decision made when the council will be changed. So then we have the recommendation there as written. Councillor Poldrin is going to move. Councillor Mencheli is going to second. So anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands? That's 9-0, that's carried. Just wanted to make sure that I followed the correct process with that. So that was 13.1.1. We've done 13.1.2. So we now go to page 122. So 13.1.3, governance policies, and there's a recommendation on page 124. Councillor Ryan is moving. Councillor Appleton is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands? That's 9-0, that's carried. And then we go to page 130. So 13.1.4, adoption of Shire of Northern Bush Fire Brigade Local Law 2024. There's a recommendation on page 135.
I'll move the recommendation as
Councillor
presented.
Shelley is moving, Councillor Ryan is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands? That's 9-0, that's carried. Then we go to page 157. So 13.2 is engineering services. 13.2.1, schedule of fees and charges 2024-25, road direction signage. There's a recommendation on page 159. Councillor Appleton is moving, Councillor Gierak is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands? That's 9-0, that's carried. We now go to, so page 160 was 13.3 development community services. Just we did deal with that item, we made a decision. So we're now going to go to page 243. 13.4 is corporate services. 13.4.1 is monthly financial report for the period ending 31st of October 2024, and there's a recommendation on page 246. Councillor Hughes is moving, Councillor Gierak is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands? That's 9-0, that's carried. Then we go to page 265. So 13.4.2, accounts and statement of accounts, October 2024, recommendation on page 267. Councillor Mencheli is moving, Councillor Polton is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands? That's 9-0, that's carried. We now go to page 333. So 13.4.3, budget variation, RFT 07 2023, Northern Bike Hub upgrades. Just a reminder that President Antonio and Councillor Appleton have declared an impartiality interest in this item and declare that they will consider the matter on its merit and vote accordingly. And there's a recommendation on page 337. Councillor Ryan is moving. Still there. Councillor Mencheli said, he said it as well, Councillor here. So is there anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands? That's 9-0, that's carried. So we now go to page 386, and we will have item 14, matters behind closed doors. Councillor Polton is going to move that. Councillor Ryan is going to second that. That's procedural, so we'll go straight to the vote. All those in favour by a show of hands? That's 9-0, that's carried. So while we deal with this, Sally's going to lead everyone where to go. So just members of the public, if you follow Sally, just for a minute. If you can stay or go, but Sally's going at the back. You can go or you can go or stay. That's everyone? Yep. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. So we've got item 14, which is matters behind closed doors, which was page 386 of your agenda. So we had 14.1, which was purchase of a portion of Reserve 35626. There was a recommendation, 1, that council authorises the Chief Executive Officer to proceed with an offer to purchase a portion of Reserve 35626, being lot 381 on DP 182613 as highlighted in attachment 14.1.2 of the report, and 2, agrees to the purchase price as established by the Valuer General, acknowledging this purchase represents an unbudgeted expenditure to be identified during the 2024-25 mid-year budget review. That was carried 9-0. Then we have item 14.2, rates write-off request A11174. There was a recommendation that council rejects the write-off of $5,233.44 of outstanding rates and charges for A11174 made under Schedule 6.12 of the Local Government Act 1995. Item 2, requests payment to be made in full by 20th December 2024. And 3, commences legal action without further notice if payment in full is not received by the 20th of December 2024. And that was carried 9-0. And then we had item 14.3, Australia Day Council WA Community Citizen of the Year Awards 2025. There was a recommendation which was carried 9-0 that Council 1 awards the Community Citizen of the Year to nominee number 3. Item 2 awards the Senior Community Citizen of the Year award to nominee number 4. Item 3 awards the Active Citizenship Group or Event to nominee number 9. And number 4 awards the Young Community Citizen of the Year to nominee 14. And just to clarify with members of the public, the reason we haven't done that is because these are announced on Australia Day. So we're now on page 387 of the agenda. So we've got item 15, motion for which previous notice has been given is nil. Item 16, urgent business approved by decision is nil. Item number 17, declaration of closure is made at 6:32 p.m. I'd like to thank the staff, the officers, councillors for the debates and decisions, and members of the public for interest in attending and questions.